Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are doing factorizing and we are asked to factorize x cubed minus xy squared. The first thing that you need to do here is take out a common factor, and the common factor you're going to take out is x because both these terms have x, right? So you will have x squared left minus, if I take out x here, I'll be left with y squared. Right, and then inside the brackets, I can see I have a difference of two squares. That means I can continue to factorize. So therefore, I will bring down the x here, and then I'll open two brackets, guys. Here, inside the bracket, I'll have x and y, x and y. The difference about those two brackets, one I'll have a plus, and the other one I'll have a minus. And that's your answer for this question. Okay, let's look at number 2. We have 3x minus 6y plus 15xy. The only thing that we can take out here is 3, and then we'll be left with x minus 2y plus 5xy. Guys, there's nothing common that we can take out further, so this would be our answer. Okay guys, let's look at number 3. So for number 3, you see this is an example of factorizing by grouping. So what you're going to do is that if you can multiply this in, you find that you're going to end up with 4 different terms that you cannot add together. For example, I'll have 6a squared x here, and then I'll have minus 3a squared y, and then with that plus 12y minus 24x. Now, these are 4 different terms that you cannot add them. They are not like terms. So this should tell you this is factorizing by grouping. By grouping in pairs. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, it's up to you whether you want to start from scratch or whether you want to follow what they've already done for you. I'm going to go ahead and just follow what they've already done for me. They had that as the first part. So now I'm going to group these two. Here, these two terms, I can take out a common factor of 12. I will be left with y minus 2x. Then I see something that's interesting. Here I have 2x minus y, but here I have y minus 2x. Okay, meaning that, okay, if I can take out a negative here, what I'm going to be left with is 2x minus y. Okay, I don't want to go into detail because I don't want to actually confuse you. So I'll take out a common factor of negative, so that would be negative 12. Now, what's going to happen is, if I take out a negative, the y becomes negative and then the x becomes positive, meaning I can write it like this as 2x minus y. Okay, so then I can take out a common factor. So I'm going to take out a common factor of 2x minus y. So, and then if I take out a common factor, I'm going to be left with that. Okay, so I'm going to be left with 3a squared, and then I'm going to be left with that minus 12 here. Right, now I see this can also be further factorized. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just factorize it here on the side so that you don't get confused once I put it back into the expression or the calculations. So I have that. If I have 3a squared minus 12, they're just asking me to factorize this. I was going to factorize 3 out and have a squared minus 4. Then I was going to say, okay, what's happening here? This is a difference of 2 squares. So I was going to open my brackets, and then I was going to have a minus 2 and then a plus 2. So I'm going to go back and just write that as it is. So I have 2x minus y. And maybe let me just do this. Let me just say times, because you know the dots, 3, a minus 2, and then a plus 2. And that's your answer. Okay, guys, let's look at number 4. So for number 4 is, I know that some of you already know the factors, you know how to do this, but I am going to help those that don't know how to actually factorize trinomials. So what I do is I use this diagram and then I say x times x in fact should give me x squared, right? And then also I'll say what are two factors that if I add them or if they subtract each other, they're actually going to give me negative 16. So 1 times 36 will not help, but 2 times 18 has potential. So I'm going to take those and I'm going to write 18 here and then 2 here. Now I have to sort out the signs, right? So I will go ahead and say this is negative and this one would be positive. Okay, we don't have to write the positive there. If you say negative 18 plus 2 will give you negative 16. Okay, how we are going to prove this? We usually go ahead and do this. We say this times that gives you 2x, and then you say this times that gives you negative 18x. Okay, now we know that also 2x minus 18 gives you negative 16. So we know that we are sorted in that regard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scratch this off neatly like this. So meaning my brackets stay as this. We're going to have, now I go and answer the question. It means I have x minus 18 as it is and then x plus 2. And that's it. Let's look at number 5. For number 5, I see this is a trinomial, but I can see that I can take out a highest common factor of 3 first before I can actually factorize the trinomial. So I'll go ahead and say 3, that means I have x squared, then minus 15 divided by 3 gives me 5. I have the x, and then 12 divided by 3 will give me 4. Right, so I'll have the 3, and then now I have to deal with this trinomial. So I can open the two brackets there. Guys, I don't have to use this diagram because I think it's quite straightforward, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it just for in case you still want to learn it. So x times x does give me x squared, and then obviously we can use 4 times 1 here because 4 times 1 gives me 4. But let's just sort out the signs. We have a problem, guys. We have a negative here. So we can't use positive for these two numbers here. So that means we should go ahead and just say this would be negative and negative. Now we can say negative 4 times by negative 1 does give me positive 4. Then we are done. Okay, and also another thing, if we want to still prove this, we can say this times that gives me negative x, and then you'd have this times that gives me negative 4x. And if you look at this, you can see that negative x minus 4x will give me negative 5x. So we go ahead and we eliminate that part and we will have our brackets like this. So we will have the first bracket be x minus 4 and the second one be x minus 1. And that's it. Let's look at number 6. So for number 6, we have 100x minus x to the power of 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a common factor of x. I'll be left with just 100 here, minus here I'll be left with x to the power of 6. Right, now then I see something that 100 is a perfect square, and then x to the power of 6 will also be a perfect square. Think about it. Square root of 100 gives me 10, right? And then the square root of x to the power of 6 is in fact x to the power of 3. How do I know this? It's because this divided by 2 here would give me 3. Right, so the answer I'm going to have now would be that I can do a difference of two squares. I'll have x then I'll open two brackets, right? So this 10 will come here, so I'll have 10 here and I'll have 10 here. Then now I will have this one here, which is x to the power of 3 or x cubed. Then it means I have x cubed here and then also have x cubed here. And then all that you can have here is a plus and a minus. And that's your answer.